Hello everyone, nice to meet you. I'm Rare, I'm here at the Google I/O 2025 event. It's being held at the MPC facility near Shoreline in Mountain View, Silicon Valley. The keynote presentation is scheduled to begin shortly, and there are a tremendous number of attendees entering the venue at this very moment. It's my very first visit here as well, so I'm quite excited right now. Let's head on over to the keynote location, shall we? First, there's a lot of content to discuss, so I've tried to broadly categorize it into different sections for you. First up are AI models, including large language models, image generation, audio generation, and even video generation. This year's announcements are quite groundbreaking. Regarding the current status of AI models related to this, you can basically see that Google has taken the lead in all areas. I'll summarize this part first, and then the second part will be about AI agent services, which are also really impressive. I'll also go over that for you. And thirdly, the AI search and AI service shopping aspects, including the AI search that Google has been doing well with. Now they're making it available to everyone, starting with the United States, of course. And this indicates that they've reached a point where they can run it with TPU version 7 without consuming excessive electricity. And finally, there's Project Infinity, which was developed in partnership with Samsung and Qualcomm. This is actually an extended reality device. They're also releasing a device similar to Meta Quest, but that's not all. They're making glasses similar to Meta's Ray-Ban, but these are quite different because they have a display. It's like the early Google Glass. So those are the 4 main points: AI models, agentic AI, AI search services, and AI products. This video is going to be quite long, so let's summarize it one more time. First off, CEO Sundar Pichai took the stage and discussed the monthly token processing volume. You just saw that, didn't you? Last December 2024 it was 9.7 trillion, and now it's increased 50-fold in just a year. A truly vast amount of things are now being processed by AI when you look at it based on tokens. Computing is advancing incredibly fast, and with AI becoming a service, this speed is accelerating significantly. In this situation, the number of developers utilizing Gemini has risen to over 7 million, which is a 5-fold increase compared to last year. So the number of individuals building AI applications on the Google platform has really expanded quite a bit. And the usage of Gemini, like Vertex AI, has increased 40-fold. And you know that Gemini app on mobile, this app now has over 400 million monthly active users. So the ChatGPT app currently has around 500 million to 600 million monthly active users, and of course it's grown even more since Ghibli. But it shows that Gemini is growing very quickly. That's to be expected. As Gemini's performance improves, I'm using it a lot more myself, and it's spreading widely. So they're discussing Gemini 2.0 Pro, and currently Gemini 2.0 Pro is actually at the top of nearly all the leaderboards. It's achieving first place in virtually every single score. And they've been continuously updating it since launching 2.0 Pro. And now, it really feels like Google is finally showing its true power, especially during the keynote when the person in the orange outfit did the demonstration. Did you happen to see that specific part? It seems they want to create animations where images, based on some rough sketches and imagined ideas, spread out in a spherical form and rotate towards the viewers. So they had Gemini 2.0 Pro handle the programming, uploading the images and sketches in that way. So I asked the code assistant to quickly generate that specific shape for me. And as you can clearly see on the right side, it created it just like that right away. You sketch out your imagination, upload it, and it handles all the coding, multimodality. If this capability is successful, it clearly demonstrates that coding, image generation, and even complex animation can all be accomplished seamlessly. So they didn't release an updated version this time, but they did introduce a new model. It's called DeepThink. Specifically, it's Gemini Pro DeepThink. This demonstrates just how capably Gemini can think and perform tasks, and you're witnessing it right now. You see, this part is often referred to as inference models, which I've stated I really don't like. I believe it's more precise to label it a reasoning model as inference, and reasoning tend to overlap. Alternatively, terming it a thinking model could also be appropriate. Regardless, in comparison to OpenAI's recent offerings such as GPT-3 or the mini models that have come out lately, DeepThink demonstrates significant improvement, surpassing even the earlier 3.0 Pro version. In terms of mathematics, also in coding and even in multimodality, it is scoring higher than those models, is what they are saying about the scores. But ultimately, they've been researching ways to significantly improve the 3.0 Pro by carefully following the reasoning steps, and it appears they've successfully found a method to achieve that now. And they've also introduced something new called the Gemini diffusion model. I've actually made a video on Gemini diffusion before, and you know, diffusion models are really widely used in image generation right now. It learns the process of diffusion, and then from complete noise, it generates exactly what we want based on the text prompt, creating an image format. Did you just see that happen right there? Even texts like those are being implemented using diffusion models, as shown in recent papers. However, if you do that, the transformer model will likely generate tokens one after another, whereas the diffusion model has the advantage of being able to generate the entire output in one go, which can significantly accelerate the the process. So they created it as a trial and presented the content about it. So that covers the LLMs and foundation models. Now if you look at images and videos next, the Imagine 4 model has now been released following Imagine 3. This could be considered a reality now actually. You can see the exceptional detail in elements such as water droplets. And it's mentioned that it supports up to 8K resolution. This means it's very useful for applications like printing or creating presentation materials. Also, spelling and typography capabilities have greatly improved, so it's a good contender against OpenAI's image generator. It's said to be great for making posters and such, but we should definitely use it more and see how it performs in practice. And then, the highlight that many people were really looking forward to is the VO3. Previously, the VO2, which was an AI for text-to-video and image-to-video generation, was very well received, and now the VO3 has already been released. This isn't just for lip syncing, we refer to this as a world model. Because it understands the world so well, it can accurately generate physical effects based on that understanding. But do you know what's even more amazing? It generates audio alongside the video. Isn't that incredible? It's been described as an entirely novel form of cutting-edge video generation AI model. Not only has the overall quality been significantly enhanced, but it's the very first to produce videos that include accompanying sound. You can easily search for it and instantly view the video, complete with music playing simultaneously. You can see how well it handles the lip syncing and everything else, can't you? It's not doing these things separately, but creating them all at once. The same goes for people, as you can see now. With the sound of water, it's like that, you know? You might think there are still some shortcomings, but considering the audio is already like this, it's really well done, I think. The fact that it's a first attempt is also quite significant, you see. If we just write the text we want to use in this prompt, it creates it for us automatically. How convenient is that? So of course, video creators will use this. So starting today, it's being offered not only to Gemini app users, but also to Flow Vertex AI enterprise users. And then, combining all of these different things, something called Flow has actually emerged. What is this? It's the combination of Bio and Imagine that I just mentioned. By combining Imagine Pro and Bio 3 and building upon Gemini's foundational model, they've developed an innovative AI tool specifically for video creation. This means you can now easily incorporate and merge images. So by putting these two elements together, you can input text prompts, or you can extend the video using outpainting, change the view, and essentially do all of these things through this Flow system. Since I'm currently located in the United States, I can access the Flow website. Users of Google AI Pro or Ultra plans within the United States, or individuals who utilize Google One, are able to access Flow immediately and commence using it, and they plan to immediately expand this to many more countries in the future. It's truly aggressive. In fact, when OpenAI's Sora was first released, I remember thinking, man, the GPU usage for this is just absolutely through the roof. Well, even using AI accelerators, it costs so very much money that you couldn't just use it carelessly, but now it's the very first time. They're offering it at a level similar to a free trial, like an 8-second free trial, but they're actually distributing it to all of the people who are currently subscribed. So is Google taking a big financial hit? Well, it could be, but Google has its tensor processing units, you see. I'll explain more in a bit. Because they have these TPUs, they're offloading all the processing that they can handle and accelerate to these TPUs and running it there, which is a significant advantage and a key factor in their capabilities. So the fact that they're well prepared with hardware is really noteworthy. Alright, so that pretty much covers all the AI models we've talked about up to this point. This is just the first of the 4 main topics we will be discussing today. Next, I'll talk about AI agents. Here's the demo you are looking at. Check this out. I asked Gemini to find the user manual. It's finding the manual for the bike you are looking at right now. See how it automatically moves on its own? On the phone screen. It finds it and shows it to you. It even opens YouTube to show you exactly how to do it. It's a full-on AI agent. This is honestly just incredible. So this was Project Astra initially, and then it became Gemini Live. You can interact directly with Gemini while looking at the camera, and you can watch the video right there while doing it. It's capable of understanding its surroundings immediately and operating audio, video, and even your mobile phone completely on its own. They said you can start using these kinds of features right away. And then something called Search Live, which is real-time search support, is emerging. And that expands the boundaries of visual search by utilizing Google Lens. So instead of us having to manually think and find the right wording for different images, Gemini Live actually integrates with Project Astra and Google Lens, essentially combining them to include real-time search capabilities. So it can recognize what you're looking at and explain complex concepts easily. And they're approaching it in a way that can solve these things well. And Project Mariner was also introduced earlier, wasn't it? So in agent mode, it's operating autonomously, just as you witnessed previously. So to implement this agent, they initiated Project Mariner as their initial research endeavor, aiming to develop AI services capable of interacting with Chrome and the broader web. Since the prototype's public unveiling last December, they have persistently enhanced its multitasking capabilities and progressively refined the model through continuous learning. Consequently, they are now preparing to launch it as a full-fledged service, leveraging platforms such as Gemini Live. Therefore, this summer, they plan to broadly deploy it after the current closed beta testing phase concludes. This particular aspect is quite exciting to anticipate, debate. The second point discussed was indeed agent mode, as mentioned earlier. So now let's move on to the third item. The third topic is Google's forte, search. But with the rise of AI, it's becoming a challenge. It seems Google got a bit annoyed, so they just released AI search mode right away, even though they'd been talking about the original AI mode. Remember MPES from back then? We talked about searching with full sentences, didn't we? But now, with the Gemini Foundation model, they're supporting AI mode, and it's being used quite extensively. The AI overview feature has turned into AI mode, making it much more intelligent. You can simply ask whatever you want using natural language, and you'll get a proper answer. The AI overview feature was initially launched last year, and it said that around 1.5 billion people have already utilized it. And now it's available in 200 countries and regions, so we've already been using it without even knowing it ourselves. Google's always been the leader in search, and now they are even stronger. So, the potential to leverage this is quite significant. As user satisfaction and search frequency continue to increase, it can now integrate shopping and relevant information, including personal data, into search results by using this AI mode. Starting this week, Gemini 1.0 will be integrated into Google Search in the US. You can dive even deeper with follow-up questions, so all the effort we used to put into finding really good resources is now simply streamlined into Google Search. Google Search is likely the biggest revenue driver, so despite discussions about Google's dominance being challenged with such efficient search capabilities, people will simply keep using Google. They handle everything for you. Early on, Sundar Pichai, the CEO, spent a significant amount of time discussing personalization. You know, Google has a vast array of applications. There's Google Calendar and Gmail and many other services, really quite a lot. There's also Google Sheets, and all of these applications contain personal information. If the user gives permission, Google can understand the personal context and automatically schedule events for you by retrieving that information. It's really quite simple. It can also make reservations for you automatically, things like that. All these things, within your personal context, like in Gmail, Sundar Pichai explained how it figures out and answers for you. It gathers all this information and creates responses, meaning it really lightens your workload significantly. Furthermore, AI search and AI shopping are being actively pursued. It can locate the most suitable items for you by analyzing text, ensuring they precisely align with your requirements. Of course, it can also find similar items or something that your 4 currently active friends might really like and enjoy and appreciate. These kinds of shopping features aren't just limited to clothes. It can find furniture or anything else you need. Why is it so good at finding things? Because Gemini's multimodality is really impressive. With this kind of analysis, it's really like having a personal shopping partner. Seriously. You can take a picture, upload it, and then virtually try on billions of different clothing items. And there's a new agent payment feature that uses Google Pay to automatically buy things when the price is right, which clearly shows how they're integrating fintech into this as well. Actually, customizing clothes to fit the body has been around for a while, but how well will it adapt to different sizes? They claim they've conducted some analysis, but judging solely by this demonstration, it's difficult to gauge its true accuracy. Nonetheless, this is a path many emerging companies are pursuing. But you can simply do this with Google Search. It's truly astonishing. So, we're in a world where personalized recommendations are achievable. Indeed, in the year 2025, there was a lot of discussion and talk about AI agents. It's quite easy to integrate this with existing platforms, and just think about the vast number of users Google already possesses. So you can gather a lot more information and grow at a much faster rate. All those projects we discussed earlier, they can all be commercialized and implemented immediately. What was the significant bottleneck in that process, you see? If you keep running AI inference, it would undoubtedly cost a significant amount of money, even for a company like Google. But Google doesn't solely rely on NVIDIA GPUs. They also have their own tensor processing units, or TPUs, which they designed themselves and are almost 10 years old now, spanning 7 generations. And on YouTube, they use hardware accelerators to run codecs separately. Because they are a company that has dedicated a lot of time to researching methods for saving on electricity expenses, they appear to be quite advanced in this particular field. I also visited Google Cloud while in Silicon Valley and posted to the community earlier. I got to see the actual TPU hardware, specifically the 7th generation TPU Ironwood. They claim this is the first TPU specifically optimized for AI thinking and inference workloads, delivering 10 times the performance of the previous generation. Given this situation, even these routine everyday searches would involve inference, and they would all be running on these TPUs. However, if running TPUs is indeed costly, could we possibly afford to deploy this to hundreds of millions or perhaps even billions of users? No, we really couldn't. But Google's confident now. They think if they roll this out, they'll take the market and get more users. In fact, when you look at this area, I believe a great many companies are likely quite concerned about this at this very moment. Actually, before the Google I.O. announcement, Microsoft and OpenAI also made quick announcements, as they usually do, like a detox, and that's just because Google is really doing so many things, you see. But the amazing thing is, so far I've mentioned 3 out of 4. I've previously gone over the AI model, and then we talked about the AI agent, followed by services like AI search and AI shopping, and finally the device and hardware components. They are really trying to dominate all of these areas. It's truly astonishing. Honestly, they're doing everything. In this keynote presentation, they initially mentioned the XR device. Now, Meta might be really worried because, as you can clearly see, not only do they have this head-mounted extended reality device, but Google originally proposed the concept with Google Glass, as you know. They mentioned that they're working on this glasses form factor in collaboration with Samsung and Qualcomm. They actually demonstrated this during the keynote presentation, and I personally had the chance to wear it myself. I also got to try on Project Mariner and the Glass device as well. Both are truly amazing, but regarding Project Mariner, I've personally tried Apple's Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3, and to be completely honest, I really wasn't expecting much from it. It appears to be equipped with Qualcomm's Snapdragon processor, and Samsung is manufacturing the display and the entire headset, while Google has unveiled a new operating system called Android XR. A brand new Android OS hadn't emerged for quite some time. This is the first time it's appeared, and after trying it out, the resolution is naturally lower than Vision Pro. It seems they did not include a high-end processor. But it doesn't overheat, it's not heavy at all, and it has very low latency. So, even though this is just a prototype, I didn't get dizzy at all. I didn't feel any motion sickness. And I could actually do things like, pull it up and say, take me to New York. And then I could see immersive views directly on the map and in Street View. It was truly incredible, really. Google possesses pre-existing killer apps like Google Maps, and when these are incorporated with XR or AR experiences, Google has the potential to gain a significant edge. Nonetheless, regarding the device aspect, they're collaborating with firms like Samsung and Qualcomm, and although group projects occasionally encounter difficulties, I personally held a positive view of this specific undertaking. I had a preconceived notion that being a full-stack developer and handling everything in a hierarchical way was ideal, but this demo was surprisingly impressive and truly excellent. With Android, there's Android Auto, and if you get a new car these days, you just plug in a USB, and Android pops up right away. Everyone can use it. Many people aren't aware of this. Creating something brand new like Android XR, it's the very first Android platform to come out since Jelly Bean was released. That's quite significant, So they intend to build this operating system to support a diverse ecosystem of devices ranging from headsets to glasses. The most appealing aspect for me was the intuitive expansion with no latency. You can use both hands freely and have a more immersive experience between reality and virtual. Finally, the XR and AR market. It didn't take off when everyone was going crazy about it, but now it seems to be blossoming. It looks like AI can fully support this now. As for Google Glass, the good thing about these glasses is that they include a display. So now not just text, but the images that appear are completely transparent. This is actually a live demo that they're showing. With Android XR glasses, Google Glass has been researched for over 10 years, integrating cameras, microphones, speakers, all into XR for an immersive experience, and it seems they will keep getting better at this. Specifically, one of the most impressive aspects of the demonstration was observing the presenters as they engaged with the audience present in the theater, talking and doing things. These two individuals were on stage speaking in two distinct languages, Hindi and another one, with essentially no noticeable latency whatsoever. It translates and delivers the speech in just 1 or 2 seconds. When I had the chance to actually try the glasses on, I noticed that the sound was processed so that only I could hear it. So as the latency gets faster, I realized AI could be used in real time. It was kind of amazing to feel that we might soon live in a world where we don't need to learn new languages. Actually, it was quite surprising. So brands like Gentle Monster, which are famous in our country, and working with companies like Warby Parker, who are known for making great glasses, they're trying to quickly popularize and commercialize this technology. They're actively gathering feedback from beta testers in order to craft a product that truly prioritizes and respects user privacy, and it is anticipated that a significant amount of additional information will be made available and released sometime later on this year. And lastly, we have Project Starline. I came to Google I/O and met Dr. Shin Jung-gi and CEO Shin Jung-yu, my former roommates. It's been ages since I last saw them, and thanks to Google I/O, we got to catch up, and they insisted I experience Google Beam. But honestly, just looking at it here now, it doesn't seem that impressive or exciting at all. There are 6 cameras, but just looking at this view, it doesn't feel 3-dimensional. However, experiencing it myself, it truly renders the other person in real-time 3-dimensional volumetric rendering. So even though it's just a 2D display and I'm not wearing any glasses, I can actually see the person on the other side in 3 dimensions. And it's the same for the other person as well. It's not just one way, but both ways, so both people feel like they're really there in 3D. It's like a hologram being projected on the display. And at the same time, what's even more amazing is that it translates different languages in real time, within milliseconds. It's interpreting, not just translating. So it might look unimpressive on the screen, but experiencing it firsthand is mind-blowing. This is cutting-edge technology. Hewlett-Packard, or HP, is currently developing products like this, and it looks like it will be commercialized soon. It's really amazing. Google Beam, originally part of Project Starline, is now branded as Google Beam and seems to be heading towards commercialization. This means it will be introduced not only in Google Meet but also in Zoom, so it looks like it will spread very quickly. This is rendering at 60 frames per second in real time, which is incredibly fast. So we've covered the details of the fourth device as well. Actually, for those interested in AI, you might have noticed that Google is really impressive these days. Google has always had a lot of platforms, and they've been doing AI research the longest, and they have done the most work in this field. However, initially it seemed they were somewhat behind because OpenAI had hastily launched their products, but the commercial impact, as you can clearly observe, is immense, spanning from Gmail to Google Docs and Google Sheets, among many other applications. Google Meet is also there, and since so many users use these services, they can integrate them all seamlessly. So even though Google Cloud's market share is the smallest among the top 3, there's a lot of room for rapid expansion with this. Plus, the number of Gemini developers is growing rapidly. These things made it especially clear at this Google I/O just how formidable Google really is. There was so much announced, so I just summarized the parts I was most interested in. Still, they covered almost everything, and at the very end of the keynote presentation, they summarized it all and showed it to everyone. So please take a really good look at these details and carefully review the parts you're interested in one by one if you would. It would be excellent to summarize the topics you'd like to see more coverage on, and since I've personally experienced and explored many of these things, I'll be covering more about Google I/O in future videos. Oh, and one interesting development is the new Ultra plan. It's really expensive, costing $300 to $400 a month, and people might say, who's crazy enough to use this? But there are actually a lot of heavy users. But the good thing is YouTube Premium is free, and other stuff is free. Well, it's not free. Anyway, paying $300,000 or $400,000 means you can really use the many Google platforms you were already using very extensively. That's pretty awesome too, you know. Folks who were already paying for various things might think, I just need to pay a little bit more here. And that's it. And then I worried, thinking, are all these startups going to be wiped out? It truly felt like a frightening announcement. This is Rare, reporting from the Google I/O event.